Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. So guys, let's get into this. So guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about, before we get into this video, smash the like button on this video. This video has to get 50 plus likes. Easy 50 plus likes, because it's that type of topic. It's those type of fighters that, we love talking about. So this video needs to get 50 likes plus, guys. Give the like button a smash. Really appreciate it if you guys can give the like button a smash. Over 50, maybe more, maybe 70, 80, but let's give the like button a smash, guys. Support the channel, subscribe to the channel, share the videos. As always, as you guys know, you know the deal right now. You know the deal by now. So yeah, let's get into it. Guys, Dibella says that Jaron Ennis beats Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. This has been a very, very hot topic and a very, very hot discussion about Ennis, about Crawford, about Spence. Does Jaron Ennis beat Terence Crawford? Would Dibella think so? And here's my take. Here's my take on this situation. Do I think Jaron Ennis beats Errol Spence and Terence Crawford right now? I think he can. I think he has a kind of natural gift, natural talent to beat them right now. I think it would be very, very dangerous fight for both of those guys. I don't think the fight happens now because I don't think there's anything in it for Crawford and Spence. And they'll look at Errol Ennis as, why do we need to fight him? He's a prospect coming through. So they'll look at the fight as, don't really need him. There's nothing to gain fighting him. Ennis obviously will be pushing to fight those guys because Ennis would want to prove that he's the best. But let's be real about it. Let's be practical. The fight ain't going to happen right now. However, if the fight was to happen right now, I think it would be very competitive and Ennis could possibly beat them. But I wouldn't be sure. However, I will say in 12 to 18 months, I think Ennis may become a favorite in those fights. Right now, I think it would be seen as maybe Spence and Crawford might be the slight favorite. But in 12 to 18 months, and that's what I would do if I was his management team and I was helping promote Ennis or helping push Ennis's career forward, I wouldn't put him in with Crawford and Spence right now because I think it's a dangerous fight. I think it's dangerous fights. I don't think he's got the experience and he hasn't really had the fights. He's fought Sergey Lipnes, Tolis Delorme. These are okay guys, but let's be honest, they're not in the top 10 in the welterweight division. What I would be pushing for is a guy like maybe David Avanesian. Now, Avanesian may look at Ennis and look, that's high risk, low reward. What do I gain of fighting that? And that's the problem that Ennis is going to have because a lot of people are going to view him as high risk, low reward because there's a lot of top names in the welterweight division that can make a lot of money. And Ennis isn't one of those names. Ennis is a young guy coming through. What if I was Ennis? I would be looking at a fight with Danny Garcia, someone like that. But again, Danny's going to look at Ennis and think, why do I want to fight this prospect coming through? What do I gain? Thurman's going to look at it. What am I going to gain by fighting this young guy? Like, he didn't even want to fight Errol Spence. Like, he was backing off like Errol Spence. When Errol Spence was champion, he didn't really seem that keen. So he definitely isn't going to go anywhere near Ennis, especially with the fact that Ennis hasn't got no belt. And Ennis isn't even a big name or a big draw where, he's going to make a lot of money from that fight. So a lot of these guys aren't going to go anywhere near Ennis. And Crawford and Spence right now, really, people want to see them fight each other. I will say, though, that Ennis is a real problem for Crawford and Spence. And I believe he is the other, like, he's a guy on their level. And in time, that's going to be a fight, that people are gonna start shouting for. Because Ennis is that gifted, that talented, that good, that people are going to want to see Ennis in there with your Crawfords, with your Spences of this world. Because, like I said, this guy is one of the best naturally gifted fighters I've seen since Sugar Ray Leonard at welterweight. He's that good. And he's naturally gifted. He's got fast feet, fast hands. He's got power in both hands. The guy's a special fighter. So I believe it's going to be very, very difficult to beat Jaron Ennis. And he's a big 147. He's bigger. He's probably one of the biggest 147s I've ever seen. He's massive. And that's a problem as well. So I think he's going to be a problem. I do. And I think Errol Spence may, after the Crawford fight, move up, so he may not fight Ennis. Crawford is probably going to be around at 147 for a while, so that may be a super fight that will happen in the future. I believe this kid is a real talent, and I've said it. And people may think I'm overhyping him, or honestly, I think the kid is a sublime talent, and I think this guy is possibly gonna go on to do great things. And if he stays focused, you know, he could potentially go and become a champion at 154. Well, I expect him to become a champion at 147, and then I expect him to go to 154 and probably 160, because he's a huge welterweight. So I can definitely see him finishing his career at middleweight, and I expect him to win championships across all those three divisions. I believe he's that good. So yeah, I know I'm putting him on a high level, yeah, and he has still got to prove it. But the eye tests don't lie, and I see something special in Ennis. And like I said, the fact that, look, Spence and Crawford are in probably most people's top 5 pound for pound list. I'm telling you, this guy could potentially beat them now. That's how highly I rate this guy. But from a managerial point of view, I don't think it would be a wise move to put him in there with those guys right now. I think it would be like rolling the dice, because those guys are more experienced. They've had more fights at the top against better fighters. They're more experienced. So really, until Ennis fights the slightly lower tier guys to those guys, like your Danny Garcias, your Keith Thurmans, you're not going to know, because the thing is with the guys that he's fighting, they're a lot lower level than what, you know, even the Thurman or Garcia are. You know, like Thomas Delorme and Sergey Lipnets, you would expect Garcia and Thurman to beat them comfortably. And this is the point I'm trying to make. So I believe he's got to fight those type of guys before he jumps in with Spence or Crawford. He's going to have a meaningful fight, and I think he's ready for that step up. I definitely wouldn't mind to see Jaron Ennis v Avanesian. I think that would be a good fight, and that would be a good step up and a statement if he can do that to Avanesian, which I believe he would do. Even against Kavalauskas, I think that would be a good fight. But Virgil Ortiz is already... I think Ennis is ready for that next big step. He's ready for that big fight, you know, like with a Thurman or Danny Garcia. He's ready for that. He's ready for that, you know. But I don't think he's going to get those guys for the reasons I mentioned earlier. I think a fight with someone like Avanesian, you know, or Josecito Lopez or someone like that, I think could definitely springboard him onto the next level. I do think Ennis is ready, but like I said, I don't think anyone's going to want to go near him, because why are you going to want to go near that? Look, he's an absolute beast of a fighter. So I hope Ennis does get these big fights, and like I said, in the next 12 to 18 months, I believe Ennis will be ready for your Crawford, your Spence. Ready in the sense that I would be confident picking him to win against those guys. Whereas right now, it'd be up in the air, and there's a chance Ennis could lose. Whereas with more experience, with the right fights, and not just about experience, because you don't want to keep putting him in with guys like Sergey Lipnets and Thomas Delorme, who are kind of past their best a little bit. You need to start putting him in with guys like your Garcias, like your Thurmans, you know, who are more skilled than those guys, who are big or Thurman's a big welterweight. Maybe a Porter fight, you know, if Porter loses to Crawford, maybe that would be a fight, because I don't think Porter, if he loses this fight, especially emphatically, I don't think he's going to have anywhere to go. Ennis is a rising star. Maybe Porter would accept the challenge, but that's going to be his biggest issue, to get these guys in the ring with him. I think that's going to be the biggest issue for Jaron Ennis, that I don't think a lot of guys are going to want to fight him, because he's high risk and low reward. It's not like he's a big star where there's going to be a lot of money attached to fighting him. There isn't that case. So why is Sean Porter and guys like that have earned a lot of money, had a good career, want to lose to a prospect that's on the rise? And that's the issue that I believe that Jaron Ennis will have. I believe that what they should possibly do in 5-6 months' time is maybe consider a fight with Virgil Ortiz. Now, I know people say that should be a fight, that should be a super fight, but sometimes you got to strike while the iron's hot. And I believe a fight with Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz is a massive fight. And I personally think that would be a big fight, and the winner of that fight can fight for a world title. Or maybe if one of them can win a belt, maybe you know, it's not going to be easy to win a belt in the welterweight division. You got Crawford, Spence, and Ugas champions. So maybe a Jaron Ennis Ugas fight, maybe that's a great fight. Maybe a Ennis Ugas fight could be pushed, because Ennis, I believe Ennis is with the PBC, right? If he's with the PBC, then an Ugas fight is more than possible, right? That would be a great fight, by the way. I think that would be a good fight, and that would be a good test. Because you would say Ugas is slightly below Crawford and Spence. So that would be a test whether he could beat someone who's a skilled fighter, who's a very good boxer. Could Ennis beat him? I believe he would. I think it's a fight that should be easy to make. And it's a great fight because I think that would be a hard test for Ennis as well. It'd be a massive step up from fighting what he's been fighting. Would he look spectacular against Ugas? Ugas has got a very awkward style. You know, he's a Cuban boxer. You know, those guys have skills. You know, we saw against Pacquiao, he was brilliant. He used his frame, used his height, used his advantages to his favor. You know, so I really want to see him in with someone like that. I don't know whether those guys will look at him as high risk, low reward, and he won't get those fights, and he'll have to get himself into a mandatory position before those fights can be forced. I don't know. But yeah, I am excited about Jaron Ennis' future. I'm excited with him mixing with the elite welterweights and seeing how he gets on. And I believe you could make an argument, and it sounds crazy because he hasn't proven it yet, and he's never even been world champion. Christian made a point that he's the best welterweight right now, possibly. He may well be. You know, but again, I don't really want to give him that crown until he's proven it, you know. I feel like there's a lot of people that like a guy and they'll say he's the best, and I personally don't disagree with Christian because I think he possibly could be, but I just don't think you should be giving somebody a crown of the best welterweight without him having to prove that he's the best at that weight. Yeah, the eye test says a lot, but one thing we don't know about Ennis, how is he if he gets into a hard fight? You know, what's his heart like? You know, what's his chin like against those bigger ones? There's a lot of things that need to be tested before, you know, we can just crown him. And he hasn't been tested like that against the elite, so we don't know. There are obviously going to be questions until he does it against the top guys, but I do think he will prosper. I do think he will. I think he's a star. I think he's the future boxing star. But let's see how his career develops. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you're thinking, guys. Remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.